ready to do some plumbing. I've already done my layout, so right here I need to be 20 and a half inches from the wall over here. I have my tub outside. Oh, by the way, welcome to Buckeyes Homestead. And then I got my two supply lines, which is going to be a half inch with 2 3/4 holes, and then supply line for the toilet right here. I got all those holes for the supply lines cut already, and then I have a 1.5 inch pipe that needs to go in here. There's 1.5 inch vent line that needs to go for the toilet. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to put that. I think I would like, so I don't have to do it, because this is like a 3-stud wall. What I would like to do is run my vent back in here. I'm not sure if you can see, I might be run it in this space here. And same with that down there as well. So should be fun. Yeah, I'm going to be cutting some holes, and I'm going to get after it. Now, you'll see me in and out of the frame. Basically, I'm getting tools to cut these holes, and we'll go from there. Yep. The toilet flange, I know I'm out of the picture. For the toilet flange, I have a 4.5 inch hole saw. This is what I'm using right here, just to show you. Not sponsored, but Milwaukee makes this one. You can use any hole saw that you want. I will say that hole saw is pricey. This one here cost me $40. They are not cheap. Also, too, one of the things that I want to point out, and I don't think it's clear, and when other people do this, and I could be completely, totally wrong. I am not a plumbing expert. I'm not going to say that I am. However, I do got a lot of experience with doing this stuff. I've done enough plumbing work to know better. However, I want to say, since this is new construction, one of the things I saw on another person's video as I was watching them do this is they were putting like a spacer underneath this flange, and my understanding is they were doing that because of their floor. I am planning on running vinyl plank with I think they're called sound dampening on the back of those, so that those be a little bit thicker. My understanding is those should be 8 mil, at least the ones that I'm wanting to buy, and the ones that are 8 mil, I believe, should be around, what is it, 5/16 of an inch thickness. So if that's the case, 5/16 of an inch thick, if I were to use, which I was about ready to do this, I was going to use a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. Then the more I thought about this, the more I contemplated, I said that doesn't make no sense, because if the final floor is only going to be 5/16 of an inch, and I put a spacer in there, it's a 1/2 inch. I mean, the toilet, there's a possibility that the toilet may be higher than the floor. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. It's better to be a little bit lower than higher. And I don't want to take a chance on being higher. I think it's a lot easier to take up space being lower than it is higher. So with that said, I'm just going to mount this directly to the floor. One thing is, you can see these tanks right here. I only have 2 tanks. I will say that this is new construction as well. I didn't get the new construction kind. I actually like this metal flange better. The new construction, you can't get that. This is made by Oakley. I should probably, if I have to do, which I'm not entirely sure I have to do or not in my area, and that's the confusing thing about codes. It seems like every area has a different way of doing things. But if I do have to do a pressure testing, I'll probably have to, I just have to buy one of those rubber seal plugs. Just plug it in here and you just seal it up. That's all you got to do. It's not that big. It's not the end of the world. It is nice to have that in there and just flap out, but I'm not that concerned with it. So, that said, going on, I'm gonna make the cut. I will say your toilet flange is in the bathroom is the most important thing to cut. Everything else depends upon the toilet, like where you place your vanity, where you place your shower. The shower almost 90% of the time is going to be in the corner, no matter what. Well, your tub or shower. 90% of the time. However, it is based upon this, so you have to be at least for code 15 inches off to the, have 15 inches clearance. We have plenty of clearance, by the way. 15 inches of clearance to the tub and 15 inches to the vanity. That's what you have to have for a code. So, that said, I have plenty of room. I will have to do something for my vent stack, which I'll have to account for. And then I'm going to put a 4.5 inch hole over my tub. Even though I know that it doesn't need to be that big, I'm just going to do that to be extra cautious and to give myself wiggle room. That is exactly where it needs to be, right here. So I measured. So the way I got this measurement is I went into my tub and I measured from the back side of the tub. This is exactly where the hole is. It's 20.5 inches from the wall here, and then from the back, I I believe, I'm remembering certainly right, it's 8.5 inches. So that'll tell me exactly where that hole's going to be. So if that's a 2-inch hole, or a 2-inch pipe, which is what you normally use in those, a 4.5-inch pipe isn't going to be that much bigger, and it's not going to have any issues. You're going to have tons of stuff going underneath that tub anyhow to support it. So, yeah. Then I believe I need a vent for that. But right now I'm just trying to work on the wastewater side of things. I'm not working on any supply lines, although I am cutting the holes for the supply lines. I may put the pipes up there for the supply lines, but I'm not going to do any final connections. This is just rough in for me right now. Let me get started. Let me get that 4.5 inches hole started. And I may cut this short. I'm just going to cut a couple holes. I'm going to have to double check. I believe this vent has to be 1.5 inches, and I believe I have to have a vent for the sink for 1.5 inches. But I need to make sure my placement where I need to have those. This one, because of where my wall's at, or where this king and jack is at, I'm going to try and put it over here. Make that work for the vent instead of trying to come through 3 studs, or have it come up and go through 3 studs. Basically, it's going to go up through the top up here, and it's going to go into the attic, and then finally it'll go into a vent and somewhere in the roof. So, which I'm not thrilled about cutting a hole in my roof, but it is what it is. My roof is finished, but I don't want to do that. Enough talking. Let's get to work. Pilot drill is smaller. And I do have to get this exactly right. What I did there is I just pulled away my drill before I let the drill go all the way down. I should have used the hammer drill, but it's all good. Pry these things out of here. It's always the funnest part. Joking. hockey puck. Now with this one down here, I won't need to be so accurate, but it's best practice to be as close as you can be. I am looking. Well, I use my hammer drill on this one. I'll see if it makes a difference. By the way, I do have a hammer drill. This is Impact. I do have a hammer drill, which is this right here. I don't know what's going on. I used this fine all day yesterday. I'm gonna steal a battery. I'm gonna show you guys what's going on with it. Maybe you guys can leave a comment what you think might be wrong with it. So I plug it in. And you can tell when I press the trigger, there won't be no light. It's just, and I got plenty of battery. It's not doing anything. I believe it's probably trigger. The trigger, it might be faulty. But I don't know, like I'm trying to go from reverse back and forth, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if it just got too cold, because it has been getting cold overnight, or if it's just the trigger right there is like was catching on something. Now it's fine. Try something. I don't think this will fix it, but I want to try it to see. This is for air tools. I doubt that this is going to work, but I'm going to put a little bit in here around the trigger. I put too much there, but we'll see. Thinking is the contacts. See, I have a saw that does something similar to this, and what happens is I found out is the contacts get dirty, and when the contacts get dirty, I can spray some cleaner in there behind it. I can get some cleaner behind it, and all of a sudden it'll start working again. But that contact stuff is pretty harsh, and I don't know if this is the same issue, but as you can see, there's no light turning on, so it acts like it's not even getting power. Or if you guys know of what the issue might be, Yeah, let me know. Maybe I just dropped it too many times. I don't know. At this point, all I know for certain is it's not working. And I think it's past warranty. I think if I buy another drill, I'm not sure I'm going to buy Milwaukee because I've been having issues with this stuff lately. You'd think that these tools, I don't use this tool every single day, day in and day out. Not this one anyhow. You'd think that it would just last forever. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. I have tons of Milwaukee stuff, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say, but I'm just considering. What I'm going to say is I'm going to consider other brands. Milwaukee, one. Here's another thing too: is Milwaukee is expensive to buy tools. Like if you buy their brand, you're expecting them to last a long time. But when I have batteries for Craftsman, I have batteries from Metabo. At least 2 other brands. Maybe I might have a third one. You know, and the tools, the Metabo brand is pretty good, but I could buy a Craftsman drill, let's say, for like 30 or 40 bucks. And if it lasts me just as long as what the Milwaukee does, I think the craftsmanship of tools anymore are not what they used to be. You used to be able to buy a tool and have it, like, especially electrical tools. I don't know how many guys you wear electrical tools, but you could buy an electrical tool, let's say DeWalt, any brand really, and it would last you a lifetime, almost. Unless something crazy would happen. Now, tools, the battery tools, they just don't last. So, what would we do, you know? Alright. Sorry, I went on a rant. I'm going to use this. I'm going to have to use the drill. It won't fit in the shop. forgot to mention too, is I was double checking. I was like, I hope. I'm checking to see where my joists are at. And I'm in between the joists, so that's good. That one fell right out. Alright. Well, that's good. Alright. Check. See which one I need for my last one. Actually, you know what? Let me double check.